Welcome to the Modestly Magnificent podcast, the website for dreamers who take action. On this podcast, we interview people transitioning into new careers in the tech field. We learn about how they prepare their life for the transition, what courses they may take, how they stay motivated when faced with adversity, and the job searching process. Join me, your host, Tamar Buchanan, as we follow along on their journey. Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Modestly Magnificent podcast. Today we have another awesome guest, another fellow cohort member from the Data Science for All Empowerment Program. We have joining us today is Mr. Dick Johnson, and I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Dick. To start off, I'm 40 years old, and I'm an Air Force vet, and I'm trying to make a career change into data science. Um, I've kind of been working, of course, I've been working for the past 20 some odd years, but not in data and not necessarily in tech. So, um, yeah.
Awesome. Can we talk a little bit about your Air Force career? That is so cool. Do you have interesting stories from the different bases you were stationed at, or did you travel a lot abroad?
So my first duty station was in England. I was
Wow.
stationed at RAF Lakenheath. I spent 3 years there. It was a pretty good time. It was definitely an experience. I didn't go into the Air Force straight out of high school. I had gone to a vocational school and got an associate's degree in computer electronics.
Okay.
Um, but from my age, I am a little bit older. 9/11 happened. I got pulled in. I felt my patriotic duty to the country. So not only that, I was interested in going back to school, and they had some good benefits for that. So I went to the Air Force station in England. I did a little bit of travel, not as much as I should have.
Hmm.
When you're younger, you don't really priorities are a little different.
Yeah.
But I was a personnel manager, so basically human resources for the Air Force.
Yeah.
I was in the med group, that med group is the largest med group in all of the Air Force European Command. We
Wow.
had about 1,500 employees, and there was four of
Wow.
us in our office that we handled all of the intake and outtake and all the day to day personnel issues for all of the employees there.
Yeah.
And when I left England, I got stationed in Arizona. I put in for Arizona because that's where I had gone to technical school at.
Okay.
And I spent uh, right about 3 years in Arizona, stationed at Luke Air Force Base. From there, I had retrained into communications for computer networking. But I kind of the way the career field was set up, I got really assigned as a warehouse manager.
Okay.
So that's what I did for the last 3 years. I was in the Air Force,
Okay.
and then I got out from there.
Okay.
So not too many real exciting stories, nothing that I would really care to share. But uh, it was a job, and it served me well actually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And it offers amazing benefits.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about your interest in data science and also the DS4A program, so the Data Science for All Empowerment Program. First, what got you interested in data science?
So a few years back, um, I was doing a different job. I was doing robotic. I was a robotics technician
Okay.
on the electrical side of things. So I was doing. So the robotics that we were doing was massive, large scale gantry style and different types of robotics and industrial automation. So
Okay.
we were going into chemical plants and working on their production lines, anything that they could automate, and that's
Okay.
what we were working on. The job was very physical, and it was taking a toll on my body, and I wanted to get out of working so hard and do something more intellectually stimulating. So I decided to go back to school. Going back to those Air Force benefits, I decided
Yeah.
to go back on my GI Bill.
Nice.
Um, so I went back full time and started in computer and information science. I felt that I could kind of build on my previous electronics degree.
Mhm.
And I was kind of didn't really kind of rudderless. I didn't know exactly which direction I was going to go in tech, because tech is massive,
Yeah, it's fast.
and just trying to see which way I wanted to go. I had a kind of a close friend that he was self-taught and moved into a data engineer position, and kind of piqued my interest. So I
Mhm.
started really looking into it, and data, just seeing the power of data
Right.
and the amount of information that you can get just from data points that you're pulling, and things that you're able to make decisions on. It just really, it really said something to me. So I started going down that path. And then one day I was, funny enough, as I was looking at TikTok, and I had come across a TikTok where
TikTok.
a lady was talking about the DS4A program, and I said, "Oh well, there we go. This would the timeline kind of works out because I graduate with my bachelor's in August, and then the course is going to end up at the end of August as well. So it was
Wow.
kind of like, oh, this is going to be
Perfect.
a perfect timeline.
Yeah.
Um, but the more I saw about the DS4A and what they were trying to do, it just, um, it really resonated with me.
Yes.
Um, Being able to empower those underserved communities is a big deal. It really is.
Yes. Yes. That's so awesome. The first guest I interviewed, Matthew, found out about DS4A via TikTok as well. And the second guest, Jesus, found out through a Slack channel that he's a part of. And I found out through Instagram. So they've been doing good with their marketing and getting the word out and people sharing word of mouth. But I at first I tell people this story all the time. Like I thought it was a scam when I found out about it on Instagram because it just seemed so good to be true and to be a free program. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, the more I looked into it, and I had some friends, I had them take a look at it and see what they thought, and because I was the same way too, like, oh, is this going to be a waste of time? Are they really going to be able to teach you this in such a short amount of time? And oh, it's free. How is the quality of the program? But oh man, from the very first day when Professor Natesh came on, it was just
He's
so much
awesome.
energy, and
Yeah.
just seeing professors that really wanted to be there and really wanted to
Mhm.
teach.
Mhm.
It was such a breath of fresh air coming from my university, and this university really trying to push everything off on YouTube. So
Yeah.
seeing a professor that was so engaging was just, oh, I loved it so much.
Wait, so you're saying like the classes that you took, a lot of the professors maybe told you to reference YouTube for extra help or extra advice?
Um, y- for the most part, yes.
Wow.
COVID was a little different story, of course.
Oh, right, right,
Um,
right.
I really liked being in the classroom. For me, getting that interaction with the professor and then the fellow students and them asking questions, and it getting your the gears turning in your head on the questions they're asking. Um, but when things kind of switch to online and everything being 100% online, the way our university is the professors are allowed to just dump a PowerPoint presentation and then say, okay, go at it. Here's the assignments that are due. So you spend a lot of time on YouTube trying to find out, okay, well, how do you do this? Or I don't understand this concept. And then you just kind of have to dig on your own. And to
Yeah.
going into this program with them actually explaining and just giving that energy back to you is such a good thing.
Yeah. I started out self-learning, but I found quickly that I need a classroom. I need a teacher. this is difficult. I need a little bit more structure and guidance. And I thought there would be a steep learning curve with our program, given that we have classes on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. There's so much to learn. And for me, it has been really intense, but we have such a good support system. Like the professors are great, the TAs are great, our additional TAs for our capstone project, they're great. Our teammates, everyone has so much to offer with their experience and advice. Like it's been very refreshing. What I am afraid of though is once we graduate and go out into the workforce, that cushion, that open arms, the help isn't necessarily going to be there. So I am like not looking forward to that and like trying to figure out how am I going to deal with that. It makes me think a lot about when I deal with imposter syndrome, like, oh, feeling I didn't learn enough or I'm not ready, even though, we've gotten a lot of training in the last 3 months and to be in the last 4 weeks. But yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that. Like how do
Mhm.
you feel about imposter syndrome? Do you ever deal with moments of imposter syndrome?
Every day of my life.
Yeah.
Even in my last job, I was very confident in what I was doing. I had been doing it for many years. I can do it with my eyes closed. I can do it with my hands tied behind my back. But there are days that you just come across things and you're just like, I have no idea what is going on. What am I doing here? Why did I, why did they hire me?
Yes.
Like I don't feel, and a lot of that is for me is I will compare myself to my peers that I'm working with. And, I, sometimes you see their work or you see what they're producing and you're like, oh, wow, I don't even know anything about that. Or I don't think I can reach that level. So for me, imposter syndrome is something I really deal with a lot. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. For me, it's not because, like I said, when I compare myself to others, it makes me work harder.
Right. Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
very big about ownership in my work, and
Mhm.
I want to be proud of my work. I want
Mhm.
people to look at my work and go, "Wow, that looks really good," or "You did a
Yeah.
really good job," or "That's something that I didn't think of that I could do."
Right.
So for me, that the imposter syndrome just kind of just gives me that little kick to say, "Okay, well, if you don't know how to do that, then look into it. See what you need to do, what you need to do to get to that level, and go for it."
Wow, I love that. I'm gonna steal your advice. I'm gonna steal it and start just flipping the way I feel when I'm in that moment of dealing with it and just say,
Mhm.
"Hey, okay, what is it that you need to learn? What is it that you need to work on?" Because you're right, it's definitely in that moment teaching something like, "Hey, what is
That's
the
right.
reason behind this?" Wow, thank you.
Right.
I like that.
And for me, you're welcome. And also for me, it's I'm not one of those people that's afraid to ask questions
Mhm.
or afraid to seem like I don't know what I'm doing. Um, I will straight up go, "What is that? Can you explain that to me? I don't
Okay.
understand this." Just to get a better understanding or a, a general curiosity. If it's something that I don't know, I want to know. I want to know
Right.
how it works.
Yeah.
So I ask questions, tons of questions.
Yeah. That's good advice too. That's really good advice.